Right, and I'm keeping really quiet down here because I know whenever a lot of the fish get quite close in. When we had that, my first £20 carp off here, I'll put a link at the top of the screen now. If you remember, on that day I was on this peg and I was talking about the fish being right down here, so they do like to get close in, so I'm going to keep really quiet. I've got the rods locked down at the back because the runs are quite savage on here, but I've got the rods at an angle up in the air and the line's quite slack, so they just go over that marginal weed and slowly go down to the area, so you get that line still going along the bottom towards your hook bait, because I think that is really important. But you've got to get over this marginal weed, I think, to present the bait properly. And as you can see there, the marginal weed up the inside. Been one or two fish topping while I've been setting up. A few signs of fish, as you see over there. You can zoom in on that. That's a fish there. So there's fish about, but definitely in the area of fish. The right hand rod, I've got probably just where that breeze is there. Brought the lead down and it was a nice clean bottom. And I've got that on a bottom bait on a tigernut boilie. And the left hand rod, there's like a weed bed that goes all the way along that side, and I've just got it about 5 or 10 yards off the weed bed. There's a lot of weed around the feet, so playing the fish obviously going to be difficult, but it isn't bad weed. It's the type of weed where if you keep the pressure they come through it. We've got quite strong setups on, so hopefully we'll be alright. Fingers crossed that rod screams off in a bit and we get a carp in the sun. And talking about gear, all my carp fishing, whether it's night fishing, the only other thing I bring is me shelter and my chair really. So, just finishing recording that piece, and the tigernut boilie rod's just gone, which was the one straight out in front. And I'm hoping it's not going to come in too easy, because obviously that weed, I've got my line going over there. I've literally just recorded the segment where we said we seen a fish over there topping, when I said the rods were in the air. The fish is now coming into the weed. And this is where the dangerous part of the fight, obviously, because this way you could lose one. They don't look very big. It's a fish. And what I don't want is it to go into this weed at the side of me here. So I'm quite happy for it to thrash about there, so it comes right close in. There we go. Been on the bank probably half an hour, however long it's taken to do your pellets on a method feeder and record them a few early clips. So yeah, it isn't a bad fish actually. So we'll get it unhooked and let's have a look at it. Right, been absolute chaos here the last 5 minutes. Was weighing the fish in the in the weigh sling, and the method feeder rod screamed off. Got the fish back in the edge, but by the time I got to the rod, it had let the hook go. And there we go. That's the first fish that we hooked into. 16.5 pound. It's from a busy water, so its mouth isn't the greatest, obviously, but a nice quick fish, literally 15 minutes in the water. The other bank, absolutely chocker, where they all race to the pegs. But if you have a nice little walk round, see a few fish topping, and as I've always said, get on the fish, you've got a chance. It didn't take too long, did it? It's a warm day, so we'll get this fish back straight away. Right, so it's a nice warm day. Got my shorts on. So there's one nice look at her before she goes back. Right, so rig, for those who are following the Canal Carp series, this will come as no surprise. 6 inches of quarter IQ, a knotless knot, a tiger-nut boilie, some ESP tubing, and I think it's a 2.5 ounce lead. It's as simple as it gets. In all my fishing, it's simple to begin with. You only change things and make it hard if you have to, if there's a reason to. There's a flat spot out there, it's sand, like, because I've just stood in the water as you've seen. So why complicate it? So that's just caught that 16.5 pound carp. The method feeder rod's back out. You've all seen that loads of times on the channel. If you haven't, just look through the videos for method feeding for carp. Let's get it back out. Right, so bait for the right hand rod is obviously tiger-nut boilie, and over the top putting some Cheshire Particle actual tiger nuts. It's exactly the same as what I do on the canal, only on the canal we had a bit of maize. The problem here is obviously roach. You put maize in, you're just going to attract the roach. You put this in, hopefully it won't attract them in. My thought process, I don't know if you've just seen the kingfisher just go through the shot then. He's out here. Now when I'm up here, I always watch what other people are doing, not to copy, just to watch what they're doing. And what I see on this lake is people spomming, clipping up and spomming. So that means that they're clipped up and all their bait is going on a pile, a big, you know, a short area, should we say. Now the carp on here, they're pressured, and I think you've got to trip them up. So my bait isn't all in a line. I don't really care. I've lined up with a pole on the far bank next to that tree, and my bait's all over the place. It's further out, it's nearer in, it's to the left, it's to the right. And what I want is the carp coming in and picking up a bait, picking up a bait, picking up a bait. How many times do you think a carp can come across one big pile of bait before, and it gets hooked before it gets spooked? That's my thought process on it. So probably where that duck is out there, but as far out as that, just spread the boilie, 2 handfuls of boilie and a handful of them tiger nuts all over the spot, and it is spread all over, literally spread all over. The right hand rod, obviously the thought process on that is a method feeder, and that's a trap, isn't it? The method feeder and the pellets hide the hook bait, and in the middle of it's a juice dumbbell, and I think it's an orange one. And that is just a trap, isn't it? You're hoping that anything that comes along that reed bed is going to find one small patch of bait, one mouthful, and you catch him. Right, so that's the area to the right of the peg. Lots of cover, and there's a lot of fish moving in that area, very close in where a lot of the fish seem to be on here. If you look past that weed bed over there, I can see there's at least 3 fish out where them ducks are, and I say we're only fishing down there and out to that water, so it's not a huge way away, but that's where they feel safe, and what you're trying to do is intercept them. I mean, like, there's one right on the top out there, what, 20 yards from the bait, and it's only 4 to 5 foot deep, so we're going to see the bait, aren't they? And that's what I was saying before, them fish that are coming around, if they're just picking up a bait here, picking up a bait there, a lot of the fish I see on here are in the margins. So the Av Give today is the day of change. We've had a lot of hot weather recently. As you can see there, the swallow or the swift is still here, and they'd be well gone by now. But the hot temperatures are keeping them here, I would presume. But the day is of change. They're saying that this afternoon the rain's going to come in, and we're going to get a good downpour. And already while I've been here, the wind was blowing more into this corner. It's now blowing more across the lake. And as you've just seen there, there's a lot of carp on the back of the wind, but in my experience they always seem to follow it, so hopefully they've got to come, you know, through this area on the way as they patrol. Right, as you can see, conditions have really changed. The sky's darkened off, and it took a good couple of hours for the next run. There's a lot of weed in the peg, as we know. Take your time, ease it in. It's just a case of just keeping the pressure on, not bullying it, just easing it in. It's another mirror. I don't know how much you got of that because I was out of shot. It's concentrating there on the fish really. Obviously there's a lot of weed on the peg on the inside, and the main priority is keeping it off that other line and getting the fish in. So apologies if there wasn't much of me on that. Hopefully you heard me. Slightly bigger, was going 17 pound on the scales. Thereabouts. Obviously with the sling being wet you never get a true figure, but realistically it's not about that. It's just about getting a bend in the rod and having a chilled out session on the bank. Second fish of the day, both coming on the dynamite baits, monster tiger nut boilie with Cheshire particle, tiger nut, real tiger nut, tiger nuts spread over the area. Right, so the fish is well vested now. One last look at her before she goes back. As I say, second fish of the day. Thank you very much, girl. An enjoyable few hours on the bank, and let's get a go. There's that fish soaking in the edge, and it just shows, like I was saying before on the video, how close they can get into that edge. That's a near, what, £3 off being £20, that carp, and it's a foot from the bank, and off he goes. And what a place to sulk, a tree. Must have some chub in him. Let's get back to it, see if we can get one more before we go. There was a few fish topping in front of me, and probably 20 minutes after that, last fish, and that is a beautiful fish to finish the session on. £19 exactly, and look, the difference in its mouth. Obviously don't get caught a lot. A lovely fish, and what a fish to finish the session on. More than made up, and there's one just boshed out right in front of me, so they're still there. There's a lad just about to dike fish here after we've finished, so best of luck to him on his session. But yeah, a lovely fish to end the vlog. £19, and let's let her go. And there we go, £19 on the nose, and what a way to end the vlog. Let's get her back. Absolutely soaked. So we come to the end of the session now. As you can see, conditions have changed considerably since when we arrived. The blue skies have gone. As I said, the wind changed direction, and I said then it'll probably bring a change of weather with it. And now the rain has arrived, so I'm going to call the session at an end today. The rods are still in. They'll be the last things to come out, as always. So if you look at, have a bit of a recap on the session. Last year when I come on here, it was 2 method feeders on each rod. The biggest thing that I'll take from today is transferring the skills from the canal, where I've been learning the rigs and the baiting and the baiting approach with, like proper carping really, as opposed to, just stepped up match method, method feeder tactics. I do like using the method feeder on here because it does work, but 2 fish coming on that other rod is good because it shows that there's transferring the skills from the canal onto here, and it's worked. The baiting up's worked, and that is a bonus that I will take from this session. 3 carp, I think it was 16.5, 17 or 18, and that 19-pound carp to finish on. What a lovely way to end the session. On the rivers tomorrow, looking forward to it, but for the session today comes to an end. So thank you very much for watching. Be great if you could like and subscribe. If you press the bell apparently down there, it'll tell you every time a video goes up, although 6 o'clock every Friday is the upload time. And with the rain coming down, wishing all tight lines, and I'll catch you all next time.